Good morning, and welcome back. Hey, I hope you had an absolutely fantastic holiday weekend, Memorial Day, as our nation paused to reflect, to consider, and to appreciate the servicemen and women who have sacrificed and do sacrifice so much to protect our liberties and freedoms here in America. We genuinely do appreciate that. A couple of very quick notes here. Want you to remember Preterist Pilgrim Weekend, July the 18th through the 20th, right here in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Go to my websites, www.eschatology.org or BibleProphecy.com, and you can just send me an email. Tell me that you're going to come. We've already got a lot of people interested in coming, people telling me they intend to be here. We need to know if you're coming. So again, just send me an email and let me know that you plan to attend this year's Preterist Pilgrim Weekend. Our theme is The Tabernacle of God is with Man. Wow, what an absolutely wonderful theme. Secondly, don't forget my formal public debate that will be coming up in September in Denver, Colorado, with popular radio host Steve Gregg. More details will be forthcoming very shortly on that. I'm very, very excited about this debate, looking forward to it a great deal. So all of those of you who are able to attend that debate need to be making your plans to attend. Now then, we're sharing some thoughts on the dating of the book of Revelation. Everyone admits determining the date of the book, when the book was written, is absolutely critical. After all, it said the events foretold in the book were shortly to come to pass. So it doesn't project itself, as a text we're going to look at this morning does, into many generations to come. It was something that was extremely imminent. Well, one of the things I've been sharing with you, and that many people have sent me emails about going, wow, this is eye-opening, is that the dominant theme from chapter 1 to the end of the book, the dominant theme of the book of Revelation is in fact martyr vindication. And what's absolutely critical to understand is that Revelation is about the fulfillment of the Old Covenant promises made to Israel about events, i.e. martyr vindication, to occur in Israel's last days. Not at the end of time, not at the end of the Christian age, but in Israel's last days. One of the pivotal Old Covenant prophecies of this, absolutely paradigmatic, is Deuteronomy chapter 32, the Song of Moses. Look, folks, Deuteronomy 32 was Jesus' template, Paul's template, Peter's, and John's, as they developed their eschatology. Now watch this. In the preamble, as it were, the introduction to the Song of Moses, Moses said, Deuteronomy 31:29, I know that after my departure, after my death, you shall become utterly corrupt in the last days. Here is telling us that Israel in the last days was going to become utterly corrupt. She's going to fill up the measure of her sin. We'll have more to say about that. In Deuteronomy 32, verse 7, Israel is called upon to look down the stream of time and to realize that these events would take place after many generations to come. So Deuteronomy 32 is not talking about things at hand in Moses' day. They were talking about events that were going to take place after many generations. Well, in verses 19 and following, in verses 29 and following, we are told twice that Deuteronomy 32 has to do with Israel's last days. You see, just like chapter 31:29, chapter 32 tells us these are about Israel's last days. So what would happen in Israel's last days? Well, for brevity, notice, verse 43. Rejoice, O Gentiles, with his people, for he will when? After many generations, in the last days, in Israel's last end, he will avenge the blood of his servants, and render vengeance to his adversaries. Now watch. Deuteronomy 32. In Israel's last days, in her last end, God would avenge the blood of his saints and bring vengeance on his enemies. Book of Revelation. In the judgment of Babylon, Revelation chapter 19, verse 2, the heavens declare the victory of God at the fall and destruction of Babylon, and it says, for he has avenged the blood of his saints. This is a direct echo of Deuteronomy 32. Okay, Deuteronomy 32 predicted what would happen to Israel in Israel's last days, in her end times. Revelation chapter 19, in describing the fall of Babylon, by the way, for shedding the blood of the saints, the song is sung, God has avenged the blood of his saints. And look, folks, it is widely recognized that Revelation 19 is a direct echo of Deuteronomy 32. So what does that mean? Deuteronomy 32 predicted that in Israel's last days, pardon me, God would judge Israel for shedding innocent blood and avenge the blood of his martyrs. Revelation 19, which as we have seen depicts Jewish persecution of the saints, and certainly depicts the last days, God was going to judge Babylon, the city guilty of killing the saints, and in that destruction, Deuteronomy chapter 32 is fulfilled. Well, that means that Revelation 19, at the very, very least, is about the judgment of Israel for shedding the blood of the saints. Oh, wait. Did Jesus say anything about that? Yes. He said all of the blood of all of the righteous shed on the earth would be avenged in his generation in the judgment of Jerusalem. Now, unless you can divorce Matthew 23 from Deuteronomy 32, and likewise divorce it from Revelation, that means that Revelation is about the imminent fall of Jerusalem in fulfillment of Matthew 23, in fulfillment of Deuteronomy chapter 32. And that means Revelation was written before the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. Hey, we've got a whole lot more. Thanks so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We'll look to see you on the flip side.